going to get into the financial systems that drive development and how various publishers are reacting to the shifting market of, well, today. In this case, though, I think it's pretty simple. Star Wars is a very safe bet for a single-player game, especially since we're not in an oversaturated Star Wars gaming market. Would you see EA do all of this, but for a brand new IP? And have that new IP have no microtransactions or loot boxes? I really don't think you would see that. But for this one, I think the maths likely does work out. Now, essentially, Star Wars is going to mean pretty good sales, so as long as the team behind the project can be on time and on budget, then I imagine it's going to be fine for EA. I assume they crunch the numbers to decent accuracy. Now, there does seem to be a bit of Star Wars burnout, enough to have Disney actually abandon much of their movie plans, but I don't think that burnout has happened with games. Plus, Fallen Order is dealing with a particularly interesting period in the Star Wars lore. Now, that said, there is one bit of maths that could change EA's stance on single-player games. Basically, if a single-player game can act as an Origin Access premium platform exclusive in the same way that stuff maybe works out for Sony, then the maths could kind of work out. Now, I don't mean it being exclusive to Origin Access or anything like that. I more mean a single-player game that could do for EA what a good single-player game does for Sony. So with Sony, it's about people, getting people onto the hardware platform. So for EA, if Fallen Order led to a spike in yearly Origin Access premium subscriptions that had people then moving on to engage with their other games like Battlefield and Anthem, then that actually could start to flip a single-player only game into kind of long-term revenue. Really, that's the only way that I see them making a single-player game of a new IP. Of course, though, Fallen Order, yeah, it's Star Wars, it's probably going to sell pretty darn well. Okay, as for the game itself, because I do want to talk about that, and in this channel we can't lose sight of the fact that the games are actually the thing we care about. So we haven't seen gameplay, so we can't fully judge anything. The gameplay is likely going to be held back for EA Play, which is the publisher's E3 press conference replacement, likely because, we're near the end of the current console generation and there's probably not that much to announce before the consoles are kind of announced. So with that, we really have no idea what the game is other than store descriptions saying that it will be about striking, parrying, and dodging, which essentially does describe most melee-focused third-person combat systems. Now that will be something that's new for Respawn as a studio, but I imagine they'll be able to pull it off pretty well. I mean, they're an experienced studio, they're really good, I think they'll nail it. Narratively, well, the time period and the mood are things that I really like. Now, if you look at Call of Duty, it gets laughed at a lot, but especially if you look at 4, it had a fairly dark, politically relevant, and critical narrative. Now, that was somewhat muddled in its more bombastic follow-up, Modern Warfare 2, which I'd say was still pretty well done, but just was different. Then for Titanfall 2, it really surprised people with how strong its narrative was. Well, okay, it wasn't stunning, but I think it was better than it really had any right to be. It was a surprisingly strong character-driven narrative in an otherwise pretty poorly established universe that people don't have that much attachment to, so the fact that it worked out that well is really impressive. So Respawn can do gameplay really well, and they can definitely do narrative really well. Because of that, I'm really looking forward to Jedi Fallen Order, and it's almost certainly a game that I'm going to be playing. So I absolutely wish Respawn the best. I hope this is a really good game, and I hope it's good enough to do really well, and that will begin to sort of show publishers that, hey, these single-player games, they can do really well. Now, it is worth saying that really the single-player game thing, it's more about profitability per project, I imagine, than anything else. I think a lot of the publishers know that single-player games can do well. They obviously see Devil May Cry and Sekiro and a game like this, and they know, well, they do pretty well. I think it's just that when the big concern is one stock price, you're going to be more interested in FIFA Ultimate Team, I imagine. But that is a little bit of speculation. Obviously, I can't be Nostradamus, and it's not like I've hacked EA's mainframe and worked out what they think, which would be a bit ludicrous and illegal. So anyway, there you go. That is my thoughts on Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, a marketing trick that I really don't like to see whenever it happens. But you know how I am actually pretty into the game. So there you go. You can check out yesterday's video. It's covering Epic and a few other things. It's our episode of the Roundup. Tomorrow we will have a deep dive, and it's going to be a really content-packed week for this channel coming up. So I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you soon.
Destroy the target.